Hey guys, it's Venom here with my budget Dark World deck. This deck is focused on trying to use mostly the structure deck to build the deck. I'm sure you could use more structure deck and less of the extra cards that I threw in. But this deck was meant to stay away from Xyz, to like have no extra deck at all. It's meant to stay away from the Fabled Raven, stay away from the Tour Guide, just stay away from those expensive cards that really make this deck even better. But this deck is still really competitive. You can still run it at a regional or whatever. So if you don't want to spend your 20 bucks on getting on part of the $200 card or 180 tour guide or whatever you want to buy to make this deck better, I'd rather go spend it on going to a regional and still using a pretty decent build. You don't need the tour guides. You don't need the Fabled Raven. They're just kind of added in just to boost the consistency of the deck and make it better. Yes, those are really good cards, but they are not necessary. They are, if you have them, run them. If you don't know what to take out of it, I'll tell you guys what to take out for the tour guides or the Fabled Ravens. But it's quite simple, actually. There's not much in this deck that's kind of more obvious than a couple cards that you would take out. But let's go ahead and jump into the budget Dark World deck. It's really powerful. I run this and it works really well. Most of the time it wins. It does. The one problem about Dark World is consistency, so it will every now and then have some consistency problems where you draw all monsters that you need to be able to discard or all spells and traps that do you no good. There's some inconsistency with it, but it's pretty good for what I've tested. I've actually been testing a tour guide version of this. It has 3 tour guides and 2 Fabled Ravens thrown in here instead of some of the other cards I have in here. And it's actually less consistent than this build. This budget build has been more consistent from my experiences than my tour guide and Fabled Raven build. And it's obviously a whole lot cheaper. About 500 bucks cheaper, I'd say, maybe even more, because I don't calculate in the extra deck either. So this deck has quite a bit less, more budget. So 3 Grapha. You can get all 3 of these with the structure deck. Key card to the deck. Really good. Run them. I like having, this is the budget version, so these guys are kind of, I would run the 2 Silvas even in the expensive version, but the 2 Golds I would take out for the 2 Fabled Raven, or for one of the 2 Fabled Ravens, or these 2 for 2 tour guides or whatever. Find room for the other stuff. In my one on the Dueling Network, I have these 2 taken out for 2 of the 3 tour guides I threw in there. But these are pretty good cards. You discard them, special summon them, return them for Grapha, whatever. 26 beat sticks when you're facing, when you've got your field spell out. So they're pretty good cards. You can rank 5 Xyz if you run rank 5 Xyz monsters, whatever. I don't run any extra deck for this for now. It's whatever you're seeing right now is what the deck is. 1 Brawn. This deck, it lacks enough spell cards to fit, in my opinion at least. Not a lot of people don't think this because they obviously only run 2 Dark World dealings and 2 of every discard outlet, and there's not that many discard outlets compared to what I run. But I like having the discard outlets. This is another discard outlet. You attack it with the field spell out. It gets over Thunder Kings, which really hurts you really bad. It gets over those Doom Caliber Knights. It gets over so much stuff that really hurts this deck. So I really like Brawn. He's one of my favorites. And if you draw into him, and it's optional to send the card from your hand to the graveyard. So if you have no cards in your hand, you can still attack with them. You can still deal damage with them. If you have a card in your hand that you don't want to discard, you can still attack and not have to discard that card. It is optional. So that's the upside to it. The 3 Snows, it basically searches out any card with Dark World in its name. Get the field spell, get the Grapha, get the Brow, get whatever. Well, you don't really get Brow. What I generally get is I either get Dark World Dealings, the Gates of the Dark World, or my Grapha, because those are the best options in my opinion. 2 Beige. It's nice having that normal summon there that you can normal summon and then return it back to the hand for Dark World or Grapha, not Dark World. They're all Dark Worlds. But and it's a 19 beat stick with the field spell out, so it's about average for most cards its size. And plus you can discard it with card destruction and mass swarm with it helping. 3 Brawn. This is kind of replacing where the Pot of Duality spot would be. This deck special summons so much that Pot of Duality is bad in here, so this is kind of like a mini Pot of Duality for Dark Worlds. He's really good. And if you run these tour guides, your target is generally him. He is a really good target. Now, since this is budget, I run 2 Scars. This is kind of like running two Sandgans, except this time I can search any Darkhold monster that's level 4 lower instead of just... So, with the Sandgan, my only option would be Brow. With this, my options are Brow, my options are Beige, Snow, and Brawn, and even itself. So I have a lot more options with Scar. Yes, Scar does have to be destroyed by battle, but still. And plus you can return it, you can flip it face up and return it for Grapha. So it's just for the budget version. I would take out the 2 golds and those 2 for 3 tour guides and 1 Fabled Raven. Possibly some other cards taken out. Might take out one of the 3 Darkhold Billings for a second Fabled Raven. That's if you have them. If you don't have them, don't waste your money on them. You don't need them. Unless you just really, really badly want them. And yes, you can use them with other decks too, so it's not going to be a complete waste of money, but in my opinion, it's a waste of money. So, moving on to the spells. That's a really small monster lineup, by the way. If you build Darkholds, you really want to have 16 to 18 monsters at most. It likes having a small monster number. If you have too many monsters, it'll turn out bad for you. And yes, that is true. I've tested 20 monsters, it's bad. Through the Gates, it's just an amazing card. Boosts up your cards to be able to kill Thunder King, kill so much that stops this deck, and plus it's a free drawn card and a free discard, basically. For what, removing a card? Well, guess what? You're not going to be using your graveyard that much other than Grapha, so I don't see why you're worrying about removing stuff, so it's really nice to have. 3 Darkhold Dealings. I love this card. Each player draws 1 card, and each player discards a card. Most opponents' decks, unless you're in a mirror match or facing Fableds, the discard will generally hurt them most of the time, especially the better their hand, the more it hurts them. The worse their hand, the more it helps you. It just helps you overall. Plus, you get that free extra card in your hand, and you get that discard. You can discard Grapha, you can discard Snow to search out the field spell, whatever you need. It's a really good card. I don't run any MSTs because I don't like the fact that you draw it with... This gives you more of an option. You can also hit face-down monsters like Spirit Reaper, Raikou, stuff like that. It's easier to hit stuff with Darkhold Lightning, in my opinion. And sorry for my dog. She really hates mailmen and UPS trucks. But I don't know what she's barking at right now. But anyways, a couple of extra cards I threw in. That's the only proxy in the deck right now, is the 1 drag down, but I run 2 drag downs. If you basically can force your opponent to only discard anything that's just going to end up helping you out, and you discard a card that they really need, and plus you get to look at their hand for Mind Crush, purposely call the wrong one or purposely call the right one, whatever. Really good cards. Card destruction, just if you have pure monsters in your hand that effects activate with... None of their effects really activate when they're on the field. All of them happen when they're discarded or hit the graveyard. Their only one that hits on the field is Brawn, so... But anyways, all effects happen when you're discarding them. So when you have all monsters and card destruction, go ahead, card destruction, draw a bunch. If you got a Brow Scent and a Snow Scent, you get more draw engine and stuff. And plus you get the Mass Summon. The Mass Summon is always really nice. Foolish Burial to send a Darkhold to the grave, or to send any monster to the grave. Always send Grapha with this. That's the only reason why it's in here. The only downside of this is you don't get Grapha's effect to destroy 1 card on the field, but that's okay. You want to get Grapha to your grave as quickly as possible and get a monster out as quickly as possible to be able to get that 3,000 beater out on the field as quickly as possible. Monster Reborn, obviously get back your Grapha. It does not have to be special summoned by returning a Darkhold from your field to the hand, so it's really good. Dark Hole, just a staple. Heavy Storm, staple. Traps, you run very few traps in here. Mirror Force is just a staple in my opinion, no matter what deck you're running, except for Frog Monarchs or stuff like that. Anything that uses Treeborn Frog. Escape from the Dark Dimension. I'm only running 1. I was thinking about 2, but I switched it back to 1. I find this really inconsistent at 2. It's really good though. Basically, you remove a card for Dark World or for Gates of the Dark World, and then you bring it right back with this. And then if you return it to your hand, well, guess what? Oh well. But it gives you better targets for the Gates if they destroy it. Then guess what? That's just 1 extra card in the grave that you didn't have before. Since this is budget, you use Dark Bribes. You get them out of the structure deck, obviously. Stop their MSTs from going off, or Heavy Storms from destroying your field spells, from destroying your monsters that are out. You want to keep your field out there because you like field presence in this deck. 2 Mind Crush. If you call it wrong, it doesn't hurt you. You just discard a graph. You just discard something. If you call it right, good for you. I actually prefer to call it wrong on purpose. Like, I'll say Pot of Greed, and they're like, that's banned. And I'm like, okay, well, then that means you don't have it. So that means I'm wrong. I have to discard a card. So it's really nice. And yes, you are allowed to call banned cards out when you call a card name for this. So you could even call, like, you can even call a synchro if you want. It just says you have to call a card name. It doesn't say you have to call a card name that's not banned, that's out, that you're allowed to use. It doesn't say that. So you can call Trishula if you want to. Well, that's not going to be in their hand. I mean, seriously? So you can purposely call wrong just to get that discard. That's the freedom of that card. And then Trap Dusty with Mind Crush, you get to see their hand. Oh, and even if you say Trishula or Pot of Greed, even though you know that there's no chance of them having it, they still have to reveal their hand. So then activate Trap Dusty right after to get rid of the monster, or activate another Mind Crush to call out a card that you do want to get rid of, that they have multiples of it in their hand or whatever. It's a really good deck, really consistent. It's obviously as budget as I could make it. The only extra cards that you really need to buy, other than the cards that are already in here, which are all like 10-cent cards. I think the most expensive one in here would be the Drag Down, which they're only like, what, $1 or $2 or something like that. Oh, nope, that comes in the structure deck. Here are the cards that don't come in the structure deck that you have to get yourself if you want to run it exactly like mine. 2 Drag Downs, that's the most expensive that there is, and then these are all like 2-cent cards, so you can all, I mean, they're all just so easy to get. So this deck is nowhere near saying that this is not budget. This is very budget. If you include the sleeves and a deck box even, you could probably make this, even with the deck box, you could make this for like $50 at most. This deck is really easy to make, really cheap, and really good. Most budget decks, most people when they say a budget deck, that means under $100. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this extreme budget because you can make it under $50. So it's really good, really consistent. It's one of the things that were expected to start topping a lot, but they didn't. Dino Rabbit Xyz, oh, I hope they do something with that soon. That stuff's getting crazy. But I hate Dino Rabbit Xyz. I'm never gonna run them, mostly because of Rescue Rabbit. But anyways, so if you guys liked the video, rate, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I keep forgetting to put it on high quality. Dang it. I'm going to have some reminder, like put on my camera, record in HQ, high quality. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys want to see. And also, tell me if you like me laying them out individually like that, or if you want to see them like this, where I have them right here, like where I have them all already laid out, and I just go like I'm just like, this card, this card, this card. Just tell me what you want me to do. Which one you would like better. I prefer the one where I just lay them out individually like I've been doing. If you don't like that, just let me know, and I will definitely change it. It depends on what most people want, though. I will do what most people want. Remember, guys, this my channel is for you guys to watch videos, not for me to put up whatever I want. It's for you guys to watch my videos. So if you don't like something, tell me what you don't like, and I won't put it up there anymore. Tell me what you do like. Also, would you guys like, on my last video, the structure deck opening, would you like to see more openings, stuff like that? I'm not really big into openings because I don't get stuff like that most of the time. I mostly buy my cards individually. I trade and stuff. So I might do a trade binder video here in a little bit. My trade binder is very small right now. Don't have much, but it'll come up maybe. So rate, comment, and subscribe. And I am going to clean up the house, because I actually did not buy my 2 structure decks. My dad bought them, and I'm trying to earn the money now, even though I've already got them. Well, thanks, guys. Rate, comment, and subscribe.